Hey everybody, and thanks so much for coming back to my YouTube channel. I hope that my latest video has definitely helped you move forward with some of your New Year's resolutions. For this video, I definitely want to focus on nature being our biggest teacher and how we internally have all 4 seasons within ourselves as well. I find that a lot of people wrongfully believe that we live outside of nature, as though we're so exclusive due to the fact that we have architecture, due to the fact that we have technology, and so forth, and that we're not somehow connected to our roots of nature. We should never downplay what nature teaches us, especially when we witness it transforming and transitioning through all the 4 seasons. And through this experience, we could definitely draw an analogy as a species scientifically that we ourselves are transitioning as well and adapting not only to new environment and to new temperatures, but to our own new personalized patterns. So using that inspiration of all 4 seasons, you will begin to recognize that through each transitional state, you're constantly renewing yourself and transforming yourself into a newer version of you. Therefore, none of these processes will ever be linear. The key is to remain as consistent as possible while maintaining that balance. So let's say, for instance, that you would like to symbolically plant a seed for your art project, or perhaps for an exam that you have coming up, or so forth, something in the far future. So you plant the seed symbolically, and you know that if you water the seed and if you take small steps to get to this goal, that you will eventually see an outcome. So therefore, not all seasons will be linear and full of 100% creativity or imagination or drive. There might be some seasons where your internal patterns are taking the time to come up with ideas and you don't have a plot just yet, or there might be some seasons where you're only working on your projects, or there might be some seasons where you need time to recharge in your personal life. So therefore, you need to keep all of these in mind so that you could see the bigger picture, so that you could move forward in a balanced way. If you're prioritizing the fact that you're taking the time to symbolically water this plant of ideas in front of you, you will then know symbolically that your plant might not grow in 1 month, it might not grow in 5 months, but you'll know that the end goal is what you're foreseeing currently. So every single time that you're symbolically watering this idea, make sure that you're nourishing it, that you're feeding it and enriching it with constant ideas, with constant brainstorming, and constant consistency when it comes to giving it attention every single day. Just like when you're taking care of your plants, if you symbolically one day give 5 gallons of water to your idea, and then the next day you barely give 1 cup, what do you think is going to happen to your plant? It's obviously not going to grow to blossom. Of course, being consistent is never a constant equilibrium. Therefore, you always need to make sure that you're just not jumping from one extreme of consistently watering it to the extreme of not watering at all, because the plant then won't function. The same thing comes into accountability with your goals. You can't one day work on 5 projects and then the next day and then next month not touch them at all. So no matter how many movements you're taking, the point is to always be attentive to this plant and to always be attentive to the ideas that you're symbolically watering every day. In the millennial generation, we obviously have this expectation of the grow and glow. However, I find that a lot of people focus more on the glow than the actual grow. You won't always be glowing, and that's just the reality of life. There will be some seasons where you're focused on growing, there will be some seasons when you're focused on recharging or renewing yourself or finding out your new identity, and that's completely okay. If you try to hold your standard to a constant glow, that is the part where you're trying to live outside of nature. It's just not normal human behavior to be at 100% each time, because we're not perfect and we can't be in a linear path. So therefore, see yourself outside of yourself, and that's the main trick. If you understand the way that the 4 seasons work outside of you, why wouldn't you understand your own internalized patterns? So you know that maybe this is the pattern where you really need to take time, you need to understand your emotions so that you could become, let's say, a better artist. Or maybe this is the time where you need to understand that you have to embody new study skills so that you can ace that exam in 3 months. If you take the time to prioritize how you'll also process all these emotions to get to a new version of you, this will help enlighten you at a much consistent and sustainable pace than constantly feeling the need to be at 100% at every single point in time. I understand that oftentimes people feel the need to bring something to the table at every single point in time. But you can't get to a heightened and a new elevated point in your life as an artist, as a student, as anything that you're going for without experiencing life. You have to be a regular human being. You can't just live inside of your bubble of, let's say, your art or your schoolwork, because at the same time that you're focusing so much on that, you will begin to devalue the experience that you're gaining from your true life experience. And these experiences will help you get to a new enlightened and heightened version of yourself. Everybody's trying to get to the highest expression of themselves as a human being. And therefore, sometimes you have to say pause, live your life, gain new knowledge, gain new wisdom, understand what's happening, understand the confusion, and then in your amount of time where you find that you're authentically living in your truth, you take that time to recharge, and then you bring that to your art, or you bring that to your schoolwork, or you bring that to your friendship, or anything else that you want. The point is, in order to really build a sustainable glow and grow, you need to take time to recharge. You need to take time to rest, because those times are the most productive to help you get to that new level. I find, especially being a New York City girl where everybody's focusing so much on the hustle and bustle and they're constantly working, that could really burn you out very quickly. And if you don't maintain that level of taking care of yourself and taking care of your mind, spirituality, body, and saying pause, I'm gonna put this on the back burner for a second and come back to it in a week, you'll come back with a new mentality. You'll come back a new person with a new perspective, with a new getting this work mindset. If we only focus our connotation on productivity and our glow season and our blossoming season and our bringing something to the table and our producing it season, then we're gonna spread ourselves out too thin. And then we won't get to that new level of ourselves that we need so that we get to that new heightened experience. Take the time to understand your patterns, to acknowledge what amount of time you need to recharge or what amount of life experience you need to gain so that you could write this new album, so that you could put out this new work, so that you could feel inspired to do a new project perhaps. The new connotation and the new definition of productivity should be self-awareness, self-consciousness, self-love, and self-care, because those elements will bring you to where you want to get to. If we change this perspective of productivity, this will be much more sustainable due to the fact that you will then understand how you affect yourself externally when you look inwards. Trust in your phases. Trust that what you reap you will later sow. Trust that what you're struggling with now you will later overcome. Time is really an illusion. In 1 week you could experience a whole month due to the fact that you're growing. In 1 month, you could experience a whole year due to the fact that so many things are shifting in your mind. When you really take your time and understand to own that silence, you will get all the answers that you're looking for in regards to what patterns you're facing, what new challenges are coming your way, and what new levels of productivity when it comes to self-care and self-love you should focus on. When we take the time to really set the new connotation for productivity, we will acknowledge these 4 seasons within us. We will understand our patterns, and we will take the time to really showcase self-love and self-care so that we could get to the new elevation in our life. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my YouTube channel. I hope that this video helps you even in the smallest way to move forward. Please like, subscribe, share, and also my Instagram handle is right there to follow. And thank you guys so much for all the love and the support. I'll see you very soon.